What's up, y'all? Y'all know who it is, your boy JP, the install guy here, hoping to make your install life a whole lot easier. Today I'm going to show you how to connect some speakers to a 4-channel amplifier if you already have an aftermarket radio. If these are the type of things that you're into, please consider subscribing or following. That's what we do here. Anything car audio install or product review related, that's what the channel is about. So here we've already taken the radio out. The radio is going to have 3 sets. It actually has 2.5 sets of RCA. So what we did is we have a 6-channel RCA right here where we have the front and rear going on the bottom, and on the single sub we have a watt splitter going to the other 2 channels, so everything can be left and right. Now in this vehicle they do not have the amplifier system, they have the basic system, so that means the radio is actually powering the speakers. So the radio is going to the 1761 plug right here. What we want to do is cut away the speaker wires from the aftermarket radio, and we want to take some 9-wire with multi-conductor wire, speed wire, whatever you want to call it. We want to hook this up to the factory harness side and let that 9-wire run to the 4-channel amp. That way the radio will still get power and we can actually have signal with the RCAs going to the 4-channel amp, and then this will go to the 4-channel, allowing our amplifier to power the speakers. Let's go ahead and cut this away real quick. And they use some crimp caps. Crimp caps aren't bad. I like soldering, so we're going to solder all of our stuff. It's going to be a lot of people saying that they will rather crimp than solder. And do whatever you want, as long as the connection is protected and it's solid. That's all that really matters. All right, y'all, so now that we've got the speaker wires disconnected, before we start installing on these, the first thing I want to do is tape these up. Reason being, when this radio comes on, there's still going to be power coming out of the speaker wires, so we don't want these to touch each other or mess around and touch the chassis of the radio, because you can catch an error code on the radio, like a Ken Woods, they usually say miswire, something like that, DC offset, and that's because these are touching. So let's tape these up and so they don't cause no issues. So you guys can use whatever you want, electrical tape, tester tape, whatever. I got some little scrap pieces of heat shrink that I use from other installs that we're just gonna put this on here. So now that these are insulated, we're gonna take them, zip tie them out the way. And now we got the speaker wires done on this side of the harness. That not only have we protected the speaker wires, but we also gave us a reminder that these are the ones that we are not using. Now we got some more heat shrink. We're going to go ahead and slide it over the speaker wires first, just so we don't forget. All right, so we got the heat shrink done on all of those. And quick little pro tip, I like to put a zip tie on the end, mainly because I don't want the heat shrink to slide down while I'm soldering, because that soldering iron is going to get hot. It's going to provide some type of heat, and then once it does that, this will end up getting hot and it'll start shrinking down here, or if it slides up, I just don't want it to do that. So I put a little heat shrink, I put a little zip tie right there so these can't come forward. Now we can strip these and solder these onto this. A box cutter, I'm going to strip the 9-wire. As you can see, here are the 9 wires, 8 speaker wires, color-coded, aftermarket wire colors, so they match what's going on to the harness. And we have a blue for remote turn-on. So what we're probably going to do is use the same remote turn-on from the radio, and that way we can have a remote turn-on coming from the radio going directly to the amp along with the speaker wires. And that's why this 9-wire speed wire, whatever you want to call it, is so important. So now we have the wires stripped and they are twisted together, ready to be soldered. Now at this point, this is where you want to do your last double check before you start soldering. Make sure all the solid colors is going to solid colors, all the black stripes is going to the black stripes. That way no speakers is like out of polarity or anything like that, and then you won't have to cut it, strip it, resolder it, and then have everything kind of out of line. Now we're going to go ahead and start the soldering process. I like to start with the clean tip, pause. Then you want to add a little bit of solder to that tip, kind of tin it a little bit, and then we want to come from up under the wire and we want to heat the wire up. So as we're heating the wire up from up underneath, the solder that's tinned on that wire is kind of soaking into the wire a little bit. Then you want to come in from the top and add the solder directly to the wire. And if the wire is hot enough, you don't even have to move the soldering iron. And we're just going to do that for the rest of the 8 wires. So now that the solder's cooled off, we're gonna go ahead and cut that zip tie, slide that heat shrink down over all of our connections. Just gonna take the heat gun to it. You guys don't actually have to use solder and heat shrink. You can use crimp caps, you can use butt connectors. I like to solder. So we're gonna go ahead and do our connections like that. Now the heat shrink that we're using is a marine grade heat shrink. They call it dual wall heat shrink. There's a little bit of adhesive on the inside that kind of oozes out as you heat it up. That way it can kind of help fight against oxidation, corrosion, stuff like that. So it's just extra protection. So I went ahead and used some tester tape on it just to kind of wrap up the connections that we did. Now I'm gonna add the zip tie that they had around the neck of the crimp caps. A lot of times when you're using crimp caps, you don't want the tension to go directly to the cap, because if anything was to pull on the wire harness, then it will go straight to the caps and it may pop it off, just in case if you don't have a good connection on those. So we're gonna put that zip tie right back where they had it the first time. That way the tension will stop right here at the zip tie and it won't even reach this, just in case if something gets pulled. And lastly, we'll just throw 2 zip ties on this thing right here just to keep everything in line. So as a quick little recap, what we did is we took a 6-channel RCA and we ran that to the amplifier. We cut the speaker wires from the radio going to the speaker wires on the aftermarket wire harness for the factory. Put heat shrink around those, curl those up, that way when the radio comes on it doesn't actually send out power. And then we took the speaker wires coming from the aftermarket wire harness going to the car and we hooked that up to the 9-wire. It's going to be about it, because the easy part is putting the RCAs on the actual 4-channel amp and then just hooking up each speaker wire on each individual channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all that type of stuff. So hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment if you want to. I'd like to thank anybody that chooses to support the channel, whether you guys hit those links in the product description, you sign up for the Patreon or one of the fan subscriptions on the website, or if you hit that thanks at the bottom of the video. All that goes a long way with me and I greatly appreciate it. So until next time, this your boy JP signing out, telling y'all to keep going, keep growing, and have a blessed day. Peace.